Before we get started, a quick reminder. Unlocked is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for any health concerns. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up, and share across all platforms. Unlocked. Mental performance, physical results. Welcome to Unlocked, Mental Performance, Physical Results. I'm Coach Eric, and today we're going to start at the end. What do I mean by that? Well, pretty straightforward. At the end of the day, it is time to rest. R-E-S-T. So you can recover. No, I'm not going to spell that also. Nobody wants to think about rest when it comes to performance. We feel like we need to get out there and do something if we want to get better. And by and large, that's true. You do have to do something, but guess what? Resting is doing something. You can't recover if you don't give your body the opportunity to recover. If it can't build itself back up, you're not going to get gains. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get tired. So, skill numero uno for today, rest so you can recover. Mental recovery is critical to physical recovery. We've talked about the interconnectedness. It's not just good enough to sit on the couch and take a day off of lifting so your muscles can recover. You also have to do things to allow your mind to recover. So if you're sitting there stressing out over the fact that you're skipping a workout, or that you did a light workout today, or that you're hitting the ice bin, or you're hitting the hot tub, or that you're getting a massage, hey, sign me up. But you're letting all of those things wear on you mentally. You're worrying about whether or not you're getting good enough at what you need to get good enough at. You're worrying about your failures. You're worried about what your opponent is doing. You're worried about what your coach is thinking. Hey, here's the common theme here. If you're worrying instead of relaxing, you're not being fully productive in that relaxation. It's one of the reasons athletes have trouble sleeping at night. It's not just the adrenaline rush and the crash. It's not just the fact that their body really wants to get going. It's also the worrying. It's the stress. It's the mental baggage that comes with competition. And we're going to get into a lot of those things over the different episodes. But today, we're going to talk about how you end it. And that is with resting. You need to disconnect. You have to recharge your mental batteries. You don't let your phone get down to zero and expect it to work. But you do that not only with your physical self, but with your mental self. This is what leads to burnout. This is what causes you to suffer when it comes to your focus. If you reset, you recharge your batteries back to 100%, you're not going to burn out. You're going to be able to focus, and those things are going to help you perform better. You can't reach the top on an empty battery. So what does that mean? What can you do? What are some strategies you can do to help you, some skills you can use to help you rest? Because not everybody's good at resting. I'm not particularly great at resting. I'm a worrier. So I have to find active ways to put myself into passive mode so that I can recover. There's a lot of different ways you can go about that. There's active ways like journaling. There's passive ways like listening to music or meditating. The key is go through some of the options and find the ones that work for you so that you can be self-aware enough to shut it down when you need to shut it down and to ramp it up when you need to ramp it up. And by all means, sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. Did I mention sleep? A nap is great. It can help. It can. Grab 15, 20 minutes here or there, even go as long as an hour. It can help, but it's not the critical rest I'm talking about. No. Do some meditation instead of a nap, and then go to bed on time. I know there's so much good things that you can stream on your phone, on your television. There's bars to go to. There's significant others to go out with. There's kids' games to watch. There's grandparents' birthdays to celebrate. There's always something to study. Go to bed. Go to bed. You will do your best recovery after you fall asleep. If you really want to ramp this up, if you really really want to do this right, what you have to do is have mental strength days. I'm going to say that again for those of you who are only half listening. You need a mental strength day. You need a day where you promote balance and self-care. After all, you've been told your whole life, don't skip leg day. Well, hey, stop skipping mental health day. Get in there and work on your mental performance. So, what can you do? Well, there are different categories that you can work within. So I'm going to break some of those down and give you some ideas of where you can go. There's mindfulness, which is mixed with relaxation. These are active and passive activities that you can do together to reach a state. Usually we think of this as Zen, right? That state of actively pursuing relaxation and mindfulness so that your body can kind of release. Like that sound effect. Maybe I should invest in some sound effects. All right, I'm going to have a little drink of my hydration beverage here, and we're going to talk about my meditation. Even just a few minutes of daily meditation can help you. And if you're macho and you're thinking sitting crisscross applesauce and humming to yourself isn't your thing, first of all, get over yourself. You're not that good. Second of all, it doesn't have to be that. Just because what you've seen in media, just because what you've seen in advertisements is that Zen-like pose, doesn't mean that's the only way to meditate. There are lots of places you can go to meditate. I'll tell you, I used a sensory deprivation tank once. Oh man, this was great. They have these pods. It was in a strip mall, and you can pay by the hour, and you go in, you get cleaned up, and you lay down in this spa, they called it, but it's really this pod full of saline water, full of heavily salted water. So you're buoyant, you float. And they close this thing up on you, and you're laying in, well, actually, you close it up on yourself because, exposure. So you close this thing up on yourself, and you can choose to do it with music. You can choose to do it in silence. I did it in silence. And you're in there floating in this water, this heavy salt water, and you hallucinate. You're so relaxed, you hallucinate. And that's a form of meditation. You can go find places where you can do that. You can go into a dark closet, just shut it all down, and get a similar reaction. You don't have to sit crisscross applesauce, Indian style, whatever your preferred terminology is, with your fingers pinched together, out shoulder width apart, and go, oh. But if you want to do that, by all means, do it. It isn't that you do the correct kind of meditation. It is that you take the time to meditate. Let your mind get calm. Let it reduce and release all of that stress. If you're looking for some other environments to do that in, check your local Google Maps. I know we used to say Yellow Pages, but that's not really the thing anymore. Get on Facebook. Look at social media feeds, Instagram, Twitter, X, Snapchat. I don't know. I'm not great with social media. Look around you. Check at the local gym. There might be a salt cave in your area. Those things are pretty cool. You sit in a chair in this room full of salt, and it circulates salt in the air, and it kind of cleans out your lungs. And it's just a very relaxing experience. And sometimes it's group. Sometimes it's solo. Find a massage chair place where you can sit down, pay your money, and just melt into a chair. They used to have those at the malls when malls existed. And you could go in and pay $5 or $10, sit in this chair, and just melt. If you've got the resources and you like massages, by all means, hit up a legitimate massage parlor and get a rub down. I actually knew somebody who loved going to the chiropractor, that gave them kind of a meditative state, getting cracked, and they actually did massage therapy there also. They hooked them up to the electric shock stimulus to help with your muscles. All of that process kind of helped them kind of chill. And that hour that they were there at the chiropractor's office was like meditation for them. Everyone's unique and everyone's different. You might be a dude who likes to sit in your basement in a beanbag chair with Pink Floyd on, just zoning out to Shine On You Crazy Diamond. That might be you, and that's cool if that is. If that's what it takes to get you where you need to be. Don't stress what it looks like, which is very important for this next one. Yoga and Tai Chi and other Eastern arts, again, The macho guy or macho girl, don't want to discriminate there, may not feel like that's for them. They've got a mental image of wearing yoga pants or wearing a white robe or whatever it is that connects them to those activities. And some people, that connection is very, very positive. But for some people, that connection is very, very negative. They don't want to be that guy. Well, you've got to get over that because, again, you're not that good. But also, you'll get better if you help yourself get better. And finding things outside of your comfort zone is probably where you're going to find that thing that's going to make you better. Because if it's not outside your comfort zone, why aren't you already doing it? So learn downward facing dog. Learn cobra pose. You can even take these things and build them into something that works for you that is outside the scope of that specific activity. And I'll give you an example from my own personal training. I do an activity called Cobra Sky. Cobra Sky is built around activities like yoga and plyometrics and some other things that creates one exercise to help accomplish stretching and core strength and yoga and these other things all in one repeatable, easy exercise for me. So I'm going to describe it to you here. It starts with Cobra, thus the name. And that's a pose in yoga. You're laying on your stomach and you push your chest up and you really stretch it good. And you get a nice 5 count. And then you raise out of that into a plank. And you hold a plank and you flex your core muscles and you hold that for a good 5 or 10 seconds, depending on what your mood is. And then you walk that back to your toes. So instead of just standing up, you do it like they do in yoga. And that's hand back, all the way till you're in a position where you're standing with your hands on your toes in a stretch position. And you stretch that out nice and good, right? And then you rise up and you reach to the sky and really stretch out well. If I feel like I need some lateral stretching, I'll mix in some twisting. So I get some Cobra Sky twisty. Just give some nice twisting to the core. And then it's back down to touching your toes for a 5 count. Then you walk it out into a plank and you flex your core and you hold that plank. And then you relax down to the ground and up into a cobra. And you stretch yourself out nice. It's not complicated. It's very repeatable. It's customizable if you have specific things you need to work on. You can add in a hamstring stretch. You can stretch for a little longer in you're touching your toes position. You can plank longer if you're really trying to focus on your core. But the key is it's nice, it's succinct, it's easy, it's efficient, and I'm comfortable with it. And when I'm doing it, I kind of forget the other things that are going on. It is, for all intents and purposes, my personal yoga exercise. And I can do it without a video, and I can do it without a training app. I can do it on my own, or I can teach to other people. And it gives me that sense of relaxation and allows me to have emotional balance. And it fits within my comfort zone, right? But it didn't start that way. I developed that from yoga, something I was very uncomfortable starting because I'm not a great flexible person anymore. But I knew I needed to get back there. I knew I needed to work on it. So I took some yoga and I found things that worked really well for me. And anytime I talk to an athlete who has to recover better, yoga is one of the first things I point to. If you're looking for better performance, get over yourself and get yoga. If you're trying to incorporate some outdoor activity, but you don't want to train because what you're trying to do is have your mental relaxation day, you're having your mental performance day, a nature walk is a great way to do that. Your first thought on a nature walk is probably going to a park. If you're fortunate enough to live near trails, I am here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We've got a lot of great natural trails that are run by the counties. If you're able to do that and hike, when I'm down in the mountains, in the Smoky Mountains, there's great hiking. You can go to the Tunnel to Nowhere and places like that and really get in touch with nature and yourself. And it really helps to wipe the slate clean. That's great. But a nature walk doesn't have to be out in quote unquote nature. It can be out in urban nature. Do you live in the city? There's great sound in the city. It doesn't have to be birds chirping and leaves rustling to relax you. If your urban environment is comfortable, go for a walk there. Hear the background of taxis honking horns, of tires rolling over asphalt, of children playing. all of the construction noise. It becomes background white noise. And if you're focused on yourself and your thoughts and your relaxation, all of those things become a soundtrack in the background, just like leaves and birds and everything you hear out in nature. It may not be everybody's preference for nature, but it's real. And hey, if it's a day like today, it's miserable out here today. There's no way I'm going for a nature walk outside, urban or otherwise, today. Well, go to an inside area you can walk. Go to a mall. Go to an indoor track if you have access to one. The key isn't the environment you're in. The nature walk is really just about walking with yourself. It's about relaxing and focusing on the inner you and letting things release, not making the walk about something else. I love to walk with my wife. I do, of course. We're married. But if I'm focusing on my relaxation and my mental health, having a conversation about our kids' school while we walk the neighborhood isn't the way to get there. So if I want a productive conversation with my wife, going for a walk is a great way to do that because we get away from everything that's comfortable and we can really lay out on the line what we want to do. But if I need a conversation with myself, or I need to stop having a conversation with myself, she's not the right walking partner for me because we can't help but talk and share about what's going on in our lives. The other thing I can do today with this wonderful weather, if I'm looking for mental clarity, is deep breathing exercises. I love deep breathing exercises. Two of the very first skills I like to teach people are the one good breath and box breathing, because they're so important to your ability to wipe the slate clean and to refocus. And all of these other skills you learn in mental training tend to start with some form of breath. So the one good breath, of course, is the long, slow inhale through your nose, the pause, and the long, slow exhale from your mouth. Just really letting yourself feel the breath come in and fill up your lungs and feel the stress being blown out. That's the one good breath. And I call it the one good breath because it's good by itself as one breath. But you can incorporate those into 5 good breaths. There's no limit that says it has to just be one good breath to be the good breath exercise. You have to modify it for your situation. Now, as far as box breathing goes, we'll get into that more and more and more. I'll give you a quick rundown on it, though. If you've never done box breathing, you'll probably want to do it as a 3-second hold, not as a 5-second hold. But I'm going to give you a quick description on it. It's something you can learn more about and we'll work on again in the future. But a box breathing is really just 4 stages of good breaths. Stage 1, you're going to inhale slowly through your nose for 5 seconds. In stage 2, you're going to hold that breath for 5 seconds. In stage 3, you're going to have a slow exhale out of your mouth for, guess what? 5 seconds. Then you're going to hold again for 5 seconds. This is where most people kind of freak out, especially the first time. And this is why I say maybe go to 3 seconds the first time through. That 5 seconds feels like an eternity because you blew out your breath. You've got no oxygen left. You're suffocating, but you're not. You're not. I promise you that exhaling for 5 seconds is not going to cause you to suffocate. First of all, your body is smart enough that you will black out first and it will start breathing on its own. It won't let you hold your breath till you die. If you don't believe me, please check with a medical professional. They will be happy to talk to you about your breathing. The second thing about it is that lung burning sensation is your body's warning system. So what do you do in box breathing? You listen to it. You now inhale again for 5 seconds. Hold for 5 seconds. Exhale for 5 seconds and hold for 5 seconds. And it's just a box. Everything is the same length over and over and over again. And because it's a box doesn't mean it's necessarily a square. It just means it's got 4 sides. So if you want to start really ramping up your holds, you can inhale for 5 seconds, hold for 10 seconds. If you're a swimmer and you've got the lung capacity of a god, maybe you're laughing at the idea of 5 seconds. Maybe you want to kick it right into 7. Maybe you want to kick it right into 10 seconds. It's flexible. Go from where you need to be. So a great skill for a day like today is breathing. And while you're doing it, don't stress about it. Just relax and go with it. The entire point of the breathing exercise isn't to do it perfect. It's to relax, which of course brings me to one of my absolute favorite ways of reaching a calming state. I talked about it in meditation, but it bears mentioning on its own, because not only can it be done as part of meditation, it can also be done as part of box breathing. It can be done as part of yoga. It can be done as part of a nature walk. It can be done as part of a drive. It can be done sitting in a beanbag chair in the basement. Listen to music. Now, generally, I'm supposed to recommend calming music because you're trying to clear your mind. But you know you better than I know you. And if thrash metal is how you clear your mind, then by God, thrash away. I'm not telling you it has to be something you would consider to be unenjoyable to listen to. Calming sounds are generally the safest way to do this. Find something nice and acoustic. Find something that is classic or classical. But if that doesn't work for you, if that makes you uncomfortable, it's not going to help you relax. It's not going to help you decompress. Just because elevator music is designed to do those things doesn't mean for you personally, it's going to. So, if for you, a long rock instrumental is what's going to get her done, by all means, that's what you should listen to. Know yourself and respond to yourself. And here's the other part of this. And this, I think, is even more important than just knowing yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Okay, so you really like heavy metal. You love to headbang. You love to bounce. You love to jump. You're even still listening to new metal and mosh pitting on your own. But you know that while that gets your adrenaline running and gets your mind cleared, it's not really relaxing you. It's not really helping you recover. And you don't want to admit it, but some of that Phil Collins stuff kind of makes you feel chill. You know, Simon and Garfunkel kind of makes you feel chill. Okay, then listen to those things. Just because they're not your go-to music or your it music doesn't mean that for the purpose of this exercise, it isn't the right fit for relaxation and recovery. And that's really what this is about. It's about finding your fit and how you can rest. And what you may find with music is that different music is good for different activities. You may find that when you're out on a drive, you want to listen to music A, but when you're doing yoga, you want to listen to B. And when you're on a nature walk, you don't want any music at all because you want to hear the world around you. But find the soundtrack for your activity so that you can mentally process correctly. Don't just blast it out, but work with the music so that it can work for you. I just dripped on myself. I don't know why I'm sharing that with you because I did also stop the recording, so I didn't have to tell you that I dripped on myself, but I did. I just dripped on myself. Took a nice drink of my hydration beverage, and I dribbled. But that's life. These things happen. What I wanted to talk about next is creative expression. And not all of us are super creative individuals. Some people like to write music. Some people like to perform music. If you've got those talents, man, go for it. Do it. Relax. Be yourself. If you like to draw, even if it's just doodling on the back of old receipts, that's fine. You can use that creative side to relax. Maybe you're a master painter. Maybe you have watercolor works. You actually buy the tubes of watercolor, not just like the hard, almost plastic feeling dried up stuff that you add water to, right? Do you. Art therapy is a great way to express yourself and reduce stress. You don't even have to be good at it. Grab yourself a set of acrylics and go to town on a canvas. You can just paint over it again next time. You can paint over it 100 times so you have an inch thick layer of acrylic paint on there and nobody's going to care. It's for you. Don't let it bother you. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks about it. If you've got a wall in your garage that you can just mural on over and over and over again and just start on the west side of the wall and work your way to the east side of the wall, and over the course of months, you get the whole thing filled up with paint and then you start over, great. That's a living reminder of your journal to sanity. Do it. That's a wonderful idea. If all of that is way too intense for you and you don't want to need supplies, journal. I know putting it in writing makes it real. So what? Put it in writing. Record it. Talking to your phone. It has apps for that. But you need to find ways to express yourself outside of just your sport. You're a human. You need to be well-rounded. I'm not saying become a master artist. You're trying to be a master athlete. I get it. But creative expression is a great way to help reset your brain. It's a great use of your mental performance day. If what you really want to do, though, for mental performance day is focus on mental performance, There's some great cognitive, I used a big word, makes me feel important, ways to enhance yourself. Well, let's start with the obvious. Read a book. Now, you can go out and read a thriller, a sci-fi, a murder mystery, a biography, a history, and all of those things can help your brain recover because you're improving yourself. You can buy the biggest, thickest book you can find, or grab a Shel Silverstein poem book, and your brain's going to thank you. But if what you want is a productive book that is directly geared towards what we're talking about, look up Dr. Tom Hansen. He's got some great books out there. Heads Up Baseball is not just a book for baseball players. It's a book that covers mental performance tools across all sports and walks of life. Who Will Do What by When is not just a workplace book. It's about scheduling and goal setting and interpersonal relationships that are applicable not just in the workplace, but across all pursuits. And of course, Play Big Academy was built on the book Play Big, Mental Toughness Secrets that take baseball players to the next level. And again, it's not just for baseball players. So if you're a swimmer, you're going to get things out of this book. And there are 100 other books I can recommend to you that will help you find tools for mental performance. And it's really important to read those. Don't make that the only thing you do on mental performance days for the rest of your life. Again, trying to avoid burnout. But incorporate those into your routine because reading is power. It will fill you with knowledge. Then you can take that knowledge and you can act on it. You can do the work that you learn on those skills. You can do the work that you learn on this show. You can do the work you learn from your personal performance coaches and do it. Visualization, kebab, workflow, goal charting, future me activities. All those are great options. And we'll get into each of those at different times. But when you tackle a specific work process, you're making progress. And that's a good use of some of your mental health days. Some of your mental strength, your mental performance days need to be spent working on your mental performance, not just relaxing and resetting, but they need to incorporate that relaxation technique because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about ways to set your brain back. Finally, the last of these kind of active things you can do in the cognitive enhancement category, play games. And I don't just necessarily mean brain games like puzzles or chess. You can do those. Those are great. But play cards. There's some great card games out there. Play Uno. Play Oh Heck. Play Bridge. I mean, if you're brave. That doesn't relax me at all. But if you can do it, great. I'm more of a euchre or a blackjack kind of guy. But those things stimulate your brain and they relax you. I don't recommend gambling. A trip to the casino probably isn't what we're talking about here. But play cards, play Scrabble, play Sequence, play dominoes. Dominoes is one of my favorite relaxation games because I don't take it serious. I can sit across the table from my son. We did this down in the Dominican Republic for hours in the evenings, sitting outside at the table, listening to nature, playing dominoes, and just chilling from a hard day at work. It's a really good personal way for me to relax. And maybe that would work for you. When I was in high school, I used to sit with my grandmother and we'd play solitaire right there next to each other at the dining room table. Her deck playing solitaire, my deck playing solitaire. We'd barely speak a word for 2 hours, but we'd play solitaire together, or at least in the vicinity of each other. And it was very relaxing. It helped build my brain power, but it also helped me chill, which is a really nice transition to the last kind of category here, and that's social connections. Spend time with loved ones. Whether it's playing dominoes with one of my kids or, sitting next to my grandmother, rest in peace, playing solitaire. It's helpful to do those things. My grandmother on my other side of the family, thankfully, is still with us, and she does crafts. And you want to talk about a chance to really see what makes her brain tick and really helps her relax and helps her be who she is, it's doing crafts. So if you sit down at the craft table with her, that's going to be incorporated into what you feel and what you're doing. You're going to experience that not only by watching her, but by experiencing it with her. So spend time with loved ones. Go out on the driveway and shoot some baskets, sit on the couch and watch a movie. Go for that walk where you talk too much because they can still be helpful. Engage in meaningful conversation. It doesn't have to be something about critical current events. Have a conversation about something completely meaningless. Talk about how number 42 is the meaning of life. It doesn't really matter what your conversation is as long as it's stimulating for you and it gets beyond the surface. Sure, you can jump into politics. That's going to make you miserable. You can jump into religion, and depending on your personality, that might be the greatest gift, or it's going to feel like politics. Know yourself, know the person you're talking with, because you don't want this to be punitive for them, and have a meaningful conversation. And when all else fails, there are ways to go out and find those conversations. One of my favorite ways to go find those conversations is to volunteer, because that conversation then becomes about the other person. It's their needs, not your own. And it's amazing how liberating it is going out and doing something for somebody else. Now that conversation, now that activity, now what you're doing has nothing to do with the stresses in your brain. It's about relieving their stresses. And when you relieve somebody else's stresses, it has a remarkable effect on your own stress. And of course, we're athletes, or at least I used to be. At least I tell myself I used to be. Exercise is a great way of helping yourself. And I'm not talking about grinding out reps. Yes, you need to do that. It's part of your training. But we're trying to get away from that. So get on the bike and just pedal. And just relax. Get on the rower. Get in the pool. Do something outside of your training regimen, but that still has you moving. If you're a baseball player, go play tennis. If you're a swimmer, hit the golf course. If you're a runner, take a relaxing bike ride. You'll find a physical activity that'll help your body move because you like to move, but that isn't grinding for your specific sport. Eat healthy. Look, I love a greasy, drippy burger. Throw some bacon on there, yes, please. But there's something rewarding to energizing your body properly. And that grilled chicken salad, sometimes it just makes you feel better. It does. You're rolling your eyes. I'm rolling my eyes. We're all rolling our eyes. But the truth of the matter is, clean food makes you feel clean. And when you feel clean, you feel better. Put away the soda. Grab a hydration beverage. Grab some water. Find a way to consume better. And for the love of all that is, please get enough sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. Did I mention sleep? I think I talked about sleep. I think I said something about naps. They're okay, but I'd rather you meditated. Remember that? Sleep! Just go to bed. Relax. Let your body do what it does best, and that's heal itself. Rest and recovery is so, so important to your mental performance. So please, go out there and relax. Go out there. Find some stimulating activities that help your brain let go of the stress load. Find some stimulating activities that allow your body and your mind to kind of ease it and recover. And when you get home at night, go to bed. I'm Coach Eric. This has been Unlocked Mental Performance Physical Results. We started at the end today here, folks. We talked about rest. We talked about relaxation. We got a few skills. We talked about breathing. There's so much more to do, but I really appreciate you tuning in with me here today. Go do some Cobra Sky and help yourself feel better.
He steps up to the plate, feeling the weight. The crowd's cheering loud, but it's up to fate. Struck out too many times, doubts creeping in, but he knows in his heart it's time to begin. He remembers the lessons, the words that they say. Keep your head up high, don't let fear lead the way. Act, take a swing, let the bats over talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. Sun shining bright, he's feeling the heat. With every deep breath, he's back on his feet. Visualizing success, he's got a new plan. With the tools from Play Big, he's a brand new man. He knows it's a journey, not just a quick fix. With patience and practice, he'll find his own mix. Act, Take a swing, let the back of the talk, chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, ready to play. Every setback's a lesson, every strike's a chance to rise up stronger, to take a new stance. With the crowd on his side, he's ready to show. With the ABCs in his heart, he's ready to go. Take a swing, let the back of the talk, chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. So here's to the slumps, the struggles we face. With courage and commitment, we'll find our own place. Every new inning is a chance to rise. Chase the champion spirit to the skies. Every new inning is a chance to rise. Here's to the slumps. Here's to the struggle.